Welcome guys, I'm HOJ, and I'm here for another Best of One standard event with my Boros Mobilize deck with some current updates. Before we get into the video, in the description you're going to see all of the playlists that I have, both for Best of One standard events and all of the individual lists as well. You will also see a full deck list for this list on moxfield.com and then also the win rate statistics on untapped.gg. In addition, you're going to see a link to my other channel where I am a science fiction and fantasy writer. And lastly, there's a link if you'd like to subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of content and you want to see more. So let's go ahead and jump into take a look at the changes here. So I really enjoyed playing with some of the more expensive cards. I had a lot of fun in the last event where we were using cards like Anim Bakal and Delny, Streetwise Lookout, as well as some other cards like Halaya. They were all great. The problem is, and this is part of the reason why I made a short today also, so if you haven't seen that, check that out. When you're looking at cards in ideal situations where you're already winning, they seem amazing. But if you're ever in a situation where you're trying to come from behind, or you're at parity and you have like maybe an empty board, they can be lackluster if they're not an all-around great card. You know, an example of an all-around great card would be Sanguine Evangelist, which is great while you're ahead, it's great while you're behind, and it's great at parity. So I ended up making some changes. I cut, basically I was playing on ladder and found that I needed the deck to be a lot faster, a lot lower to the ground. So I cut some of the higher mana cost cards, and then I brought back in 3 copies of Neighborhood Guardian, which had been fantastic for a very long time. And I cut it out initially because I wanted to play Shocking Sharpshooter, but I believe there's room for both. And they both essentially give a benefit either to direct damage to the opponent or pumping up our creatures so we can get in more direct damage to the opponent by attacking. And then I also added a new card, which I think is going to be great in this deck, in Torch the Tower. So Torch the Tower is a 1 mana instant that does 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and it has Bargain. And so if you bargain by sacrificing an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast the spell, instead it will do 3 damage to that permanent and you scry 1. And then if a permanent dealt damage by Torch the Tower would die this turn, exile it instead. So this is really nice because we make Mobilize tokens in this deck, which are only going to stick around until the end of the turn, so we might as well bargain them away. And Torch the Tower is fantastic at dealing with tough to deal with creatures where you need to exile them, or if you need to upgrade to 3 damage, it's fantastic. So I think it's a natural fit for this deck. It also gave us a couple more 1-drops, which were sorely needed. For a long time, I'd been running the other, the 1-drop, I can't think of the name, it's the 2/1 white creature that can endure 1 for paying 1 white in another. Which is good, but I think just having more initial removal is sort of where I want to be. And I also slipped in 1 more copy of Authority of the Consuls. I had originally cut it all the way out, but the effect is just so powerful in so many matches that I think it really does deserve to have a singleton copy. And then we've got 2 copies of Lightning Helix, which I'm hoping will round out and give us enough removal between the Burst Lightnings, the Torch the Towers, the Helixes, and then sort of the pseudo removal that we have with Stadium Headliner. So those are the changes. The mana base changed a little bit also. I added back in Starting Town to give us access to even better mana. And I shaved a couple copies of Multiversal Passage and Sunbillow Verge, and then added 1 copy of Soulstone Sanctuary back into the deck to give us a little bit more value out of our lands. So this way, I believe we have access to, let's see, 17 sources of red on turn 1, and then I believe it is 16 sources of white on turn 1. So still pretty good. But anyways, we're going to see how it plays out. Let's go ahead and jump into the event. And I'm trying hard to make sure we get enough gems to complete the Mastery Pass before the new set drops. So I've just been using gold only for these events and trying to, do an event every 2 days or so just to preserve our gems. But once we, but once we end up hitting 3,400, we'll be able to do the Mastery Pass, which I'm excited about. So. I do also want to do some other decks for these best of 1 events, but the current list with Boros Mobilize has been changing so quickly over the past couple days that I really did want to have it again here in another event. All right, opening hand looks good. We've got mana. We have early interaction. Go ahead and keep. I think since we have no turn 2 play here, I'm okay playing Multiversal Passage and not holding up Torch the Tower necessarily. So we can go ahead and play this for white and then have access to Torch on turn 2 if we need it. So maybe our opponent here is AFK. All right, looks like it might be Dimir mid-range. Go ahead and lead out here with Arabella. Pretty happy with Arabella as a singleton in the deck. Because you're draining life, this essentially is a 3/3. Not exactly a 3/3, but it'll do an extra damage to them and give you a life. So that's kind of how I view it a little bit. All right, let's get in and then let's see. Actually, let's do this for red. Hopefully no phantom interference here. They've definitely got some kind of permission. Question is, what have they got? Sure. So we could double torch to get rid of the Preacher. It does represent, a decent amount of value. We could also just fly over for 1 and then set up for another turn. I'm not sure what's correct. I think because they can go for like Enduring Curiosity, potentially. I'm happy to get rid of this thing. So I don't know if this is the best use of our mana or our cards, but I think I'm going to go for it. The other option here is, we could also try to trade with it and then just play another Evangelist, which is another potential. But I think I'm just going to get rid of it. Actually, I suppose I'll offer it. So maybe, thinking back, I think maybe I'll just offer the option. This is kind of a weird attack. I would have done this after they blocked in combat, But I think I'd rather have the Evangelist here if they're willing to block. And if they're not, I can finish it off. Yeah, kind of changed my mind halfway through what I wanted to do there. But okay, they have another Preacher. So the problem here is if we drop to exactly 16, they can double trigger on their turn. But I do want to play both of these cards, so yeah, I think we go for it. It will give them an extra card and a little token, but I think we want to get everything out there. So let's just attack in the air first. I suppose, yeah, actually we shoot them with the Sharpshooter, so the life is going to be different anyways. I was thinking we'd be at the same life total, but yeah, they'll be lower. Kind of curious what they've got in hand here. If they want to just try to use one of their lands, maybe, or if they want to try to play something out. Okay. So now they're trying to offer the double trade here. I don't think we're going to go for it. I think we're just going to let this through. And now we can just attack for 3 in the air. We'll hold the mountain here. And hopefully we can draw into something big, maybe like a Warleader's Call, something like that. Pretty nice pickup. So we can take out Kato here. We are at 8, so we have to be a little bit worried about just dying. Probably need to hold back minimum 1 bat. It might be better to hold back 2 bats. But I think we probably want to send 2 bats to make sure we kill Kato. So I think we are going to go for it. And we'll send these at face. So here's a little bit of a risky play. But this way we can block and not die. Unless they've got something else here. So I think we trade here. I was trying to think what we could draw where we could potentially, because like they have access to Drowner. Yeah, I'm not sure. So if we draw Warleader's Call off the top and they use Drowner on one of our bats, we would be able to activate twice here. They could block one. Hit them for 4 in the air. Plus they'd be able to block the other 2. Yeah. I feel like maybe we need to have... Well, they're going to go up to 9 with this. I don't know that we... I'm trying to decide if we should block here. It's not looking great, to be honest. I think we block. Yeah, potentially the turn that we ended up double shooting the Preacher, that might have been wrong. And now they're just pretty far ahead. Let's see, can we stabilize here? I suppose we can hold these back, try to buy ourselves another turn. We can use Headliner to take out Enduring Curiosity, but we kind of want to use it to block and then kill Preacher. Yeah, we don't really have great attacks here. Enduring Curiosity is a huge problem. Yeah, so now we're pretty much just dead. We can... Yeah, because they're going to tap that, so we have to sack it. And then block here, block here. We don't... I think, yeah, we still take 5, so we're just dead. It's a little bit too much. Alright, 0 and 1. I think that, you know, there's certain matchups where it's just great to have kind of like the sort of longer game cards like Enduring Innocence, which are great cards. They're fantastic value, but like in some of the other matchups where you need to race to kill them, or, you know, you're up just against lightning fast Boros or mono red, it's really nice to have like the lower to the ground cards. Alright, so they know we've got Shock. That's okay. This could be the Tifa deck. Could be something... Yeah, this is the Tifa deck. Sure. We can't really mess around with this thing. We just have to kill it on sight. Trying to decide if... I think we want to save our torch. Potentially. Because this could upgrade to 3 damage if we need to. Huh. Regal Imperiosaur. Interesting. Okay. Trying to decide if we save our torch or if we just use it now. I think we maybe use it now to cut their mana. I don't know if it's right. Maybe we save it for like another Mossborn Hydra. But like the Imperiosaur is a major problem. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to use it here. Again, not sure if it's correct. Just trying to limit their mana a little bit. Okay, they're going to punch our guy. We really need mana ourselves. But yeah, with 23 land, like we shouldn't have issues, but looks like we are. Yeah, and can't seem to draw land. God, we're probably just dead here. Guess we get in for 4, and then if they don't have a land, we maybe potentially hold the line. But I think we're probably just dead. Yeah, because then they could just double the power and make this a 10-4 trample. So it was definitely not the deck that I was expecting. I thought we were just playing against like the Hydra deck. And that's going to do it. Yeah, they're swinging for 14. We can only block 5, so that's exactly lethal. All right, this could be a very quick one. 0-2. All right, we're on the play. We have 2 land. Hopefully we can get to our 3rd land. We have 23 land in the deck. So hoping that's a possibility. And yeah, I don't think I'm holding up mana here for 2 life. Okay, so potentially up against, is it Cauldron? Maybe it's Jeskai or 4-color control. But yeah, let's just lead out here with Arabella. This could also be like the job select deck. Sure. Guess we'll burn that out. Okay, that's a nice pickup. We can start getting in there a little bit. All right, so it is Cauldron, I guess. Or some like weird kind of storm deck. I wonder if it's like a deck where they like throw Vivi at you. Unfortunately, we can't kill Vivi. Man. I feel like we've got a chump here. So I guess we just send 1. Well, I suppose we send 1 with Encampment, or we can try to like attack with 2, make some more. I guess we just send 1 and then hold back with like Lightning. The problem is that if they have any kind of removal, they could just kill us right off at the bat here. I think that's the play, though. It's an interesting Vivi deck, though. I haven't seen this version with all like opt and sleight of hand and all this stuff. So now I guess depending on like how much stuff they have in their hand, and they've got Torch. Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, I think we're dead either way because Ral, this is going to get another counter. But I guess we go for the token now. Problem is they can just use Agathis in response. Well, that was a quick event. 0-3. Wow, it's kind of a beating. $25 gems. Oh, all right. Well, let's take a look at the stats of the deck. All right. Overall, in the events, this deck is 59% win rate, 70% on the play, and 50% on the draw. Total number of wins is 29 wins and 20 losses. The most recent version of this deck went 0-3, but previous version went 6-3. So, you know, maybe that's just like a better version. I think I had to change it on the ladder just because everything was so fast. So I don't know if, you know, ladder and best of one events track super differently. But yeah, at any rate, there's a whole bunch of versions of the deck, and this is the overall win rate. Yeah, I guess we'll just you know, hope for the best. Maybe change things as needed. But we'll see you guys in the next one. And thanks for watching.